Anyway, you let me know when.
You're good.
Ready? Okay. So my name is Trish Gower. I'm the founder and owner of Messy Minded Magic. And what I do is I help creative, scatterbrained women who want to excel in business to regulate their mind so that they can elevate their income. And I say that in the best way possible because I am an ADHD entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 9 years old. The first thing I ever did, and I know you're all too young to know what this was, but my grandparents had a magazine called Grit. And it was a farm magazine, and they had advertisements in the back of it. And in the back, there was the coolest picture of this Captain Olympia who had a stationery line. And for every product you sold, you could get $1. At 9 years old, I was hooked. I was in. So that was my first entrepreneurial journey. But right now, I'm a coach, and I help women who struggle with ADHD or neurodivergent tendencies to be able to market to their people, to be able to identify their avatar, to get unstuck when they're stuck. How many of you have ever felt stuck when you're working on your business? Anybody? Yeah, you get to that place that you're like, okay, now I know I need to get in front of people, but it's scary, or I need to speak to someone, but I'd rather just go sit in the corner and hide, right? So that's what I help them do in their business. In the process of learning that I wanted to be a coach, I started my own e-commerce brand in 2019. I really started to get it off the ground in 2020. It was called Board to Brilliant, and it's still on the web today. I sold that business in 2024 because, like any good ADHD entrepreneur, I got bored with it. And so I decided I wanted to sell it and I wanted to coach other people. I was coaching in a program called the 0 to 100K, which is a business built for entrepreneurs to flesh out their idea, start with something they could import, something that they could build themselves, and grow it to $100,000. And that was the focus of the program. And I surpassed that quickly. I grew my business in 4 years to over $500,000. But in that, the fun of it went away. My product was anything from little booklets that kids could write for their parents to slime kits that they could do together with their parents, anything that would encourage family time, big coloring pages, that they could sit around the table and do things together, because as a child, I didn't have that family time that I wanted, and so I wanted to foster that in other people. So honestly, enough about me, because that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk to each one of you. How many of you are currently running businesses or have a business idea? Awesome, a good percentage of the room. I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's your business? Or you just have an idea, you're fleshing out?
I was gonna say, yeah, it's really just the idea. I wanted to, I guess it's more than an idea. I kind of started making like little business cards and stuff for it, but it's basically just like I guess an e-commerce, like trying to sell purses and things like that, little trinkets and stuff online.
Awesome. Yeah, that's it, and that's a great, the nice thing about e-commerce is that you can set it, forget it, you get to make money while you sleep, and that's awesome. So, do you have like your website built out? Have you gotten it started, or are you just thinking about building?
Just started doing the little steps, so.
Awesome. And what is your talent in that? What do you hope to be as a part of that business? Are you gonna be the creator, the designer? So probably.
Because I do like so it's kind of like, if that makes sense, like the pieces put together.
Yeah, no, that's great, and what's your name?
Idea.
I'm Trish. And did you say you have a business idea, yes? No? Okay, and you?
I help my wife run a tattoo studio here in town.
Nice, what's the name of it?
Cryptid Ink Studio.
Okay, cool, and so I heard you before the meeting saying that things were increasing in business, is that what you were talking about?
Yes.
And this was supposed to be a slow time, yeah?
Yes.
What do you think contributed to that?
Well, we're trying to figure that out. Obviously the weather is really bad for people walking in right now or going out and doing things. It's really hard to convince people to go out right now, and we've just been working on our online marketing as much as we can, but we can't say that that's the make or break part of it because we haven't really changed anything. We're hoping it's just part of the exponential growth of more people are aware and they tell more people, and that's really the only thing we can think right now.
I think you're onto something there. When someone has a talent and that talent starts to be shown, it's a really good word of mouth advertising. And that's amazing. I'm gonna guess she's pretty talented at what she does, yes?
Yes, I
Yeah,
would say so.
that's what I figured. That's what I figured. That's awesome. Back here, what are you guys doing for business?
I have an idea. I would like to start a business called Nanny Express where it's like an Uber for kids. Because I didn't have any help with my kids transporting them to and from practices. So I'd like to do that for
I love
working
that.
parents.
I love that. I have 3 daughters that would say, sign me up. And I would say, please, sign them up. Because I am part of that transport. And so have you fleshed any of that out, or you just kind of in the thought
No, like
process of it?
literally this week I paid a bunch of money for the Tony Robbins program I'm
I'm
figuring
a
it
Dean
out.
and Tony fan. I'm a huge Dean and Tony fan.
Really.
So, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and my daughter goes to school here and she's a genius and so she's
Mm.
like,
Also with her own startup.
so,
No, I think
sorry to
that's,
embarrass you.
No, you're good.
I think that's amazing. So a lot of things to look into there.
Yeah.
As far as like, what do I have to do to be insured to haul other people's kids around?
Yes.
What's it gonna take? What kind of time am I gonna have to put in it? Can I hire other people that could help me with that? Yeah, those kind of things. That's cool. That's way cool. I like that. And what is your business?
I am co-owning a business with another student who's unfortunately in class, and it's werewolves. We make specialized costumes and we go to conventions and we vend and whatnot.
Sweet. That's awesome. So both of you talented seamstresses, no doubt.
Well, we both theater students focused in costume technology, so we
Nice.
sew a lot.
Nice. Awesome. Anybody else back here that had a business? Yes.
I have a couple ideas.
Okay.
I haven't started a business yet, and I'm planning on starting one once I get into my career, so I can do my career and then the business on the other half of the day.
Mhm.
I guess one of them is OBM, mobile car wash,
Okay.
which there's kind of a twist to it.
So tell me the twist. Explain to me what's the twist to that.
Well, the prices are really cheap on it,
Okay.
and they go over to your house and they wash your car.
In your driveway, so you don't have to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about, let's say I had to be at the library all day, could you manage something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. That's neat. I like that. Anybody else on this side running a business?
Right now I'm not in a business, but I used to be in my father's business, that is agriculture farming back in my country. But maybe after my graduation I will start again.
What did you see in your father's business that would make you desire to want to have your own?
Actually it was not matching with my interest, but once I completed my undergrad, after that I realized I'm more into nature and more in a agriculture side, so that is why most probably I will be joining that business.
That's awesome. I love that. This side, somebody over here. Yes,
Photography business.
photography, wedding,
I've done a little bit of
Babies.
everything. I've done wedding, babies, graduation shoots, events. I love event photography, but the end goal would be like portrait photography for gender nonconforming and or queer individuals to help feel more comfortable in their own body.
nice. So you found a niche.
The hope, yes.
All right, very nice. Back row back here. Yes.
It's kind of different, but like it's UGC content creation. So like basically making video ads for brands or companies,
No, I love
and
that.
they post those videos on their accounts.
I love that. And so easily, you could so easily implement AI into that. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you could go even farther and work with people to help them schedule that content. If you can create it and schedule it, I'm in. Because that takes a huge portion of my week to create my content. Nice thing about it too is that once it's created, I save it and I can reuse it, because 9 times out of 10, you guys, as much as you think that we are one of a kind and that everybody just focuses on everything we do, you can use the same ad this month and use it again in 2 months and nobody's gonna remember. Okay? Chances are you won't even reach the same people, and that's okay. So that's cool. That's awesome. Someone else over here?
I used to have a business. I don't have one now. I'm kind of looking into other options, but to bring that forward, my old business used to be called Otter Be Awesome, and it was all about otters and educating about keystone species, because that was an interest that I had that kind of paired with like marketing and the studio art majors that I'm in. I called like a different couple. I made like a couple different designs, and then I called some aquariums and things like that, and I did it based on an Otter news story that was happening at the time, and he was like stealing people's surfboards and things like that, but I use that kind of as an educational
I
game.
love it. That could be such a great movement in like public school, like to take to the kids. I love that. And you're not doing that now.
I'm not. I reached out and I got a vendor application and I went to put it in and I realized that at the time I was very much a teenager and didn't have time to like reach out to big companies and do things like that. But I feel like I have more time now to look into that side of things.
Sweet. That's cool. I think that's a great. That's unique. It's very unique. I love it. And you?
So I had a business, right now I'm closing up shop because I'm currently an MBA student from Georgia. So I had, during my time here, I actually know Savannah here from my undergrad at St. Mary the Woods College, but now I'm an MBA student here at the Scott College of Business. But I had started a cleaning and organizing business, and during my undergrad it had grown into like a side hustle because cleaning you just make more money than working on campus.
Yeah.
And so last year I had attained my LLC. I won the 3rd place in the pitch competition last year. And so that funds was able to help. But I had started it and I could tell that it could grow, but I didn't have enough time to really fine tune it. And so now I'm in the transitional period. And so right now I'm thinking about closing the door, which I'm in that process, but I'm also looking for other opportunities because my concentration is in entrepreneurship.
For sure. I love that. And are you? No. Okay. So, a couple of different things. So I'm hearing some really cool ideas. Most of what I've heard so far, and bear with me here, is trading time for money. Yes? And so as far as scaling, you would have to get creative. You're gonna have to find ways to either have employees or in the case of what you're doing, maybe like an AI clone that could do the work for you. Again here, like maybe a second designer, whatever. So I just was kind of trying to get a feel for, okay, are you product-based entrepreneurs? Most of you are service-based entrepreneurs, and I think that's really cool. So at the end of the day, pop quiz. I'm just gonna, let's see, who do I wanna pick random? Who do I wanna pick on? What is the most important part of your business? What do you think, if you had to pinpoint one thing in your business, what's the most important part?
We're still early, so I would say doing what it takes to stay open.
Okay, doing what it takes to stay open. When you start your business, what's gonna be the most important part of your business?
Adding value to families.
Adding value to families, that's amazing. What's the most important part of your business?
Mine was mental health and using lessening stress and anxiety.
I love that.
To a clean space.
I love that. That's the benefit. Did you hear what she just said? That's the benefit of her business. Both these last two, that was the benefit of her business. I love that. What's the most important part of your business?
Time, just having giving them what they need in a reasonable amount of time.
Sure, absolutely. Deliverables, getting it done on time. Let me challenge you. The most important part of your business is you. You are the single most important part of your business, okay? At the end of the day, it's your spark, it's your vision, it's your hard work, and it's your business. I know you're co-partnering with your wife, but at the end of the day, when someone comes to your company, it's because of something you did, okay? Because every last one of you, with the exception of the Otter, has competition. It's been done. There are other tattoo parlors, yes? Right? There are other people that make business cards, right? All kinds of cleaning services, yes? Not sure on the mobile nanny thing. I'm just not sure how close of a competition you would have. So you got a pretty good little niche there. But what I'm trying to tell you is at the end of the day, you are the difference in your business. I am the reason women come to me for help because they've seen who I am. They've seen that I'm real. I don't mind talking about things that you kids know nothing about, like menopause and all the things that I struggle with as a 51-year-old woman who has 4 children and 5 grandchildren, getting ready to be 6, but I can't say that yet, but you don't know her. But anyway, my point is, at the end of the day is people come to us because of us. They do. First of all, they love helping small businesses. They do. In today's age, Yes, we like to order from Amazon. I'm the first girl to tell you that if I can get it there in 2 days with Prime, it's gonna happen. But if I have time to wait, or if it's a special thing, I look for my local business owners because it matters to me, right? So they're gonna come because of you. Let me give you an example. I worked in Robinson, who knows where Robinson, Illinois is? 3 people. It's about 30 miles, 40?
Yeah,
Drive maybe
it's
from here.
45-minute drive, right?
Yeah, Lincoln Trail College, you probably heard of that. That's, I mean, we have a college, they have a prison, we have restaurants, 3 pizza places, but it's a very small town, 7,000 people, okay? I worked in a sewing machine shop in that town for 17 years. My best year was over $700,000 worth of sewing machines. Okay? It wasn't because I had any different machine than anybody else had, because I didn't. We sold Baby Lock, Janome, Singer. We quit carrying Singer because they went a different route, but Baby Lock, Janome, Juki. Those were the 3 main brands that we carried, okay? I can work on them with my eyes closed. I don't anymore. I could tell you the features, I could tell you about the 7-point box feed, I could do all those things, but at the end of the day, when people would call me from Indianapolis, Indiana, or would call me from Bloomington, Indiana, or would call me from St. Louis, Missouri, and say, I'm looking for this machine, I've seen it at 3 different places, and I would tell them about it, and then I would give that entrepreneurial spirit going in them. You can make money with that machine, and I can show you how. And I can show you what to charge, I can show you how to do it, I can come and set it up, and you can buy that machine anywhere, and you can probably get it cheaper, but you don't get me. And I'm gonna give you a 1-year trade guarantee, which means you have a whole year to sew on it, and as long as you trade up, you don't lose any money. And they drove to me from all of those places, and that's why I got those sales. And I'm not patting my back, I mean, I kinda am, I guess, but I'm not just trying to pat my back, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you are your business, and it's awesome, it's a privilege, it's a really cool thing. I don't know how many of you have ever read this book. This is like one of my favorite books, this will be the 3rd time I've read it. Has anybody read this book? Anybody recognize her? Barbara Corcoran.
What's the name of it again?
Shark Tales, How I Turned $1,000 into a $1 billion business. Who's watched Shark Tank? I mean, that's what we're doing, right? I love this book. She is one sharp cookie. She grew up in a house with 11 kids and counting. They just kept having kids. They had a girls' floor, a boys' floor. And she just didn't take no for an answer. I'm pretty positive, she never says it, but I'm pretty positive that she was ADHD because she talks about being dyslexic in school. She couldn't read for a long, long time. And when she finally did learn to read, it was later in years, and she felt like she was stupid. Like, she talks about the trauma that she faced from that. But what cracks me up is she can take a negative in this book and turn it to a positive so fast your head will spin. Created a report and ran an ad with this report on the real estate industry that made her an expert in her industry overnight in the New York Times. I mean, it's just, you need to read it. If you haven't, I don't know how to say her last name, Corcoran, I think, Corcoran, Barbara. She was one of the Shark Tanks. I don't even know when this was printed, but like I said, I've read it 3 times. It's excellent, excellent message. But she started out with $1,000 that she borrowed from her boyfriend. Split the business with him 51-49% because he wanted to be in charge because he'd given her the money, right? But at the end of the day, she's a multi-billion-dollar mogul. Like I said, you've seen her on Shark Tank. Just a phenomenal story. If you get a chance to read it, I would recommend it. So I did not bring a ton of stuff with me today, but I wanted to help you guys a little bit. I know you're gonna be pitching. That's what this is about, is pitching. I have never been to a pitch competition. I am absolutely not the expert.
And by the way, let me interject this because I know some of you may or may not be participating in the pitch competition. Whether it's the one that we've got going on right now that's going to be in March, I encourage you to, right? Try. It's a low-hanging fruit. You get a chance to earn some money, and you're putting yourself out there. You're getting a chance to sell your idea. This is not like an investment pitch. You actually get to just sell an idea. That's all you have to have coming in, and we can coach you on that process. But with that in mind, every single one of you, whether you ever compete in a pitch competition or not, every single one of you has got to learn how
Gotta
to
have a
pitch. You've got to pitch yourself, you've got to pitch your idea. I mean, you want to ask somebody out, right? That's why I talk all the time about in our personal lives as well as our professional lives, we all need to be able to deliver a good pitch, right? A compelling pitch, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
For sure, and I love that. I'll tell you the best pitch I ever saw, and that was this week. My husband is a stickler about not having the TV on when the kids are there. My 3-year-old granddaughter came in and sat down on the love seat, and he walks in and she goes, "Papa, sit here. Papa, sit here." And he sits down and she leans her little head over on his arm and she goes, "You want to watch a show, don't you?" And it was the cutest thing I've ever seen because she knew how to get him, right? And that's what you guys are gonna learn is how to speak to, number one, your ideal avatar. If you've not heard that phrase, that's just your customer. How many, I hope all of you use ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Copilot. Somebody uses AI in this room, yes? Okay, perfect. You can go into ChatGPT and you can give it a very basic, and I have it here. Basically, this is my ideal customer. She's between this age and this age, or he's between this age and this age. They make an average of this amount a year. You're not gonna know all this right off the bat, okay? But this is the product I sell, and this is, okay, and you could even reverse engineer it. This is the product I sell. This is what it costs. This is how it helps. Who is my ideal avatar? Where are they? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they professional people on LinkedIn, right? I'm a little bit by the seat of my pants, so LinkedIn makes me feel very uncomfortable. I'll just be honest with you. But I do have a profile there because I was in the healthcare technology management realm for the last 2 years and I had to have that. But you want to know your ideal avatar so you can speak to them, right? You know who you're talking to. You know who you're talking to. So if you went to a 50-year-old white grandma, I'm not being, please don't, but you see what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. That's not your ideal avatar necessarily. You know who you're talking to, please. If you want to talk to someone about business cards, you're not gonna go to, well, honestly, anybody that has a business you could go to. But you know what I'm saying. You know who you're talking to. You're talking to business owners. They need some, or coaches, or teachers, somebody that needs to talk about who they are. If you want to talk to someone, you're not going to go to someone who only rides a bike. They got to have a vehicle to get it washed, right? So same idea. You've got parents with kids. That's your avatar, right? And they're busy. They're probably both working. So you've got to flesh out who that is so you can speak to them. That's where I was going with that. If you try to talk to everyone, okay? If you try to talk to everyone about what you do, your message gets fuzzy. It just gets too fuzzy. We come from a place where we want to be inclusive. We do. We want to include everyone. In business, that doesn't always work because you got to pay for advertising most times, and if you spread it too thin, it's not going to do its business. So you want to get your avatar nailed down. You want to make sure that you have a clear message to speak to them. So as far as pitching goes, you don't need a perfect avatar, you just need a place to start. And again, I wholly advocate ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whichever one is your favorite. Are most of, just out of curiosity, what do you use the most for AI? Anybody? Chat, yeah, paid? You use the paid plan? You use the free plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anybody use anything different?
Copilot for the university.
Okay,
Yeah, we're a Microsoft campus, so we use a lot of Copilot, but I'll
Okay.
tell you the one I like the best is Gemini.
I am starting to favor Gemini. They all have their strengths. Claude is super good with legal type stuff, documents, and doesn't. I get irritated with ChatGPT because it tries to coach me more than I want it to. So I've learned to start saying, okay, no frills, no fluff. This is what I'm doing. Give me a list, But I guess what I'm trying to say is try some different platforms and see which one you like the best, okay? Because you may get different results. And then you can also double check one over the other by taking what you got from one and taking it into another. So I just kind of wanted to give you a basic idea of what a elevator pitch is. An elevator pitch is just a 60-second, this is who I am, this is who I help, and this is how I help them. Or this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is basically what you'll get, okay? You're selling your benefit to your client, okay? You correct me if you have something better, okay?
No, I think that's a perfect definition, and I work closely with David Fleming in our Scott College of Business, of course, he's our sales and marketing guru.
Yeah.
And of course, David actually does that very thing, the elevator pitches, right? And the importance of an elevator pitch is, you're not necessarily gonna go up to somebody you've never met and just hit them with your elevator pitch, it's a little scripted, it's a little contrived.
Yeah.
But it's important, because by memorizing that, by having that, you know your story. And it's important that you know how to quickly and improvisationally
Yes,
relay that story to somebody that may represent a real opportunity for you, right? That you may or may not have another opportunity to get.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing is, when we talk about like our business pitches, which is a little bit different, right? Those kind of the business pitch competition that we host, you have like 3 to 5 minutes and you can record it.
Right.
So you can kind of get it to where you want it. And then the live one, you get like 5 to 7 minutes, because a whole business, it's hard to do in 60 seconds.
for sure, for sure. Would you agree with me, though, that an elevator pitch is a great place to build from?
Absolutely, because the first thing I tell everybody to start your pitch with is the story of you.
Yeah.
What's your story? Why this? That's what I wanna know before I even get into the details of your business.
For sure. Good example, when I was coaching for the woman that taught me how to build my e-commerce business, it didn't take me long to realize that we kind of were split down the middle as far as it went. There was half of us that could watch the videos and listen to the coaching and just put it into place and do it. And then there were the other half of us, myself included, that were like, okay, oh my gosh, what should my brand colors be? Because this is my business and I want it to represent me. So like I want to make sure I have the right colors. And is my logo okay? And should that be a little bigger? And what do I do? Right? I just started spinning and I started swirling and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? And so as I went through that, I realized it was deeper than that. I have a lot of childhood trauma from ADHD, because I'm sorry, in the 80s, if you had ADHD, you were a bad kid. They put you on Ritalin, you were a disruption to the class, you were awful, you were XYZ, right? And so I was either not living up to my potential, which I heard a lot, because I would get bored with certain things, right? I can tell you that I tested very high on all the scores as far as the aptitudes went, not an issue. But as far as like staying engaged, it was hard for me. It was super hard for me. My brain would zing off on some other idea, which is what makes us great entrepreneurs, right? So, but my point is that in this program while I was coaching, I realized that I had to unpack a lot of my brain trash to be able to put myself in front of people. Like if you'd asked me to do this 5 years ago, I would have been like, But 2026 is my year to get in front of people. I've been online, I've been on Zoom, I've been on any streaming platform you can think of, but this is my year to be in front of people. And so I just started reaching out. I went to a networking event, backstory, I might go back to that. That's why I chose to coach, because I watched these women struggle like I was struggling and I realized I wanted to help them, okay? Didn't mean to get off with the squirrel. Anyway, I went to a networking event, and this is where I'm going with the elevator pitch, okay? The networking event that I went to was in Indianapolis. It's called NOWIB, N-O-W-I-B. I don't remember what the N stands for, but it's Women in Business, Organization of Women in Business, okay? And they have a group of women that get together every month. They go either eat somewhere or they have an event or whatever, and you just network. And you meet other people in business. And guys, you're going to want to network. You're going to want to get around other people in business so that you can get your name out there. So you can, maybe you don't know exactly what they're looking for, but you know someone that does, and they will do that same for you, right? And so while I was there, they had a quick elevator pitch workshop. And she said, okay, I need 3 people to volunteer. And I have a coach right now that coaches me, and I firmly believe in coaching, just like what you were talking about. And I could hear her voice in the back of my head say, be first in line. If you want to make it in your business, you need to be first in line. And so I volunteered and I stood up and I said, my name is Trish. I'm the founder of Messy Minded Magic. I help creative, scattered business women regulate their minds so that they can elevate their income. And everybody in the room was like, wow, well, I worked hard on that. I worked super hard on that. And still when I say it, there's a part of me that says, but I also do this and I also do this and I also do that. But it was a quick way to get people interested. And from that, I got 5 sales calls. 3 of them ended up being networking calls to invite me to other opportunities, and 2 of them were actual sales calls, and 1 of them is going to coach with me. I think that's a pretty good return on investment. Do you not?
And that's why,
Yeah.
and that's why people, that's why your biggest and best companies in the world come up with mottos, right?
Yes.
Because a motto is something that's memorable. It's short, it's memorable. That's something we can take away. We're not gonna remember all the details, but if we remember that,
Yes,
then there's a better chance we're gonna remember you, right? And that's gonna resonate.
for sure. One of the ladies that stood up second, she said, my name is so-and-so, and I work for this company, and we do merchandise, and so we do sweatshirts that you can put logos on, and we help people advertise their business. And she was really struggling, but she was wanting to gain from. I could tell she was just as hungry as I was. She wanted to glean from this, and she sat down, and the lady in charge said, "Okay, let's help her a little bit." And at the very end of what she was saying, she said, "Pretty much, if you can put a logo on it, we can do it." And I said, "That is your pitch. That is your unique selling proposition. Pretty much, if you can put a logo on it, we can do it." I'm gonna remember that. I need a logo on, pretty much yep. You see what I'm saying? So you wanna get that elevator pitch down pat. You wanna get your avatar so that you can speak to them and get that elevator pitch down pat. So I actually coached on this in my group this morning because all of my coaching clients are business owners. Some of them are coaches, some of them are e-commerce owners. Some of them have brick and mortars. And so their homework this week is to craft their elevator pitch and put it in my Facebook group on Friday. If any of you would like to send me your elevator pitch, I'm more than happy to look at it. And you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook. It's Messy Minded Magic is my coaching business. You can email me at trish@messymindedmagic.com, and I would love to help you craft that if you're still struggling. That's pretty much all I have today. But if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer questions. And if you get a chance and you want an inspirational book to read, this one's amazing.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. All right, questions for Trish while we've got her here?
Have you used AI in any specific ways that help you promote your business or launch it better?
Yes, 100%. I struggled terribly with creating social media